2017. I was your normal middle schooler. I had friends, a light in my eyes, a 3DS. But if only I knew how my life would change suddenly when she appeared. The lights are on, so I guess somebody's home already. I don't see anyone. They're probably upstairs. Anyways, I gotta make dinner.
Don't move!
Who are you?
Turn around, slowly.
What do you want from me? Why are you in my house?
Where are the leaks?
What? I don't have any.
Put the leaks in the back.
I have none. I hate leeks.
Say that again.
Okay, I'm sorry, but I just don't have any.
Then I need something of equal value.
A carrot?
Your soul.
How is that the same?
For the rest of your days, your soul is mine. I will occupy your every thought, every waking minute of the day. Even when you think you're forgetting me, you won't. I'll always be waiting for you at your request. Watching, waiting. Miku, out!
And that's the story of how I met Miss Miku here. Miku?
I never broke into your house. You realize that you just lied to everyone, right?
Shh, Miku. Viewers leave within the first 30 seconds of a video. You have to reel them in somehow. You're sulking.
No, I see how it is.
Fine. So my first real encounter with Vocaloid was still in middle school, but it was through a friend of mine who was heavily into it. After wearing me down for many months, I decided to listen to a YouTube playlist that they had sent me with a bunch of songs on it. The first one is Butterfly on My Right Shoulder. Okay, that's new. Alright, let's see what it is. Oh my god! I loved it. I stayed up the whole night listening to that playlist. It was like when humans created fire for the first time. Or bread. The era that I got into Vocaloid was a quiet one. The Miku-apocalypse, some call it. Yet I can't help but look back on that time fondly. Just after the golden age, but before the second renaissance that started again around 2020. I do like a lot of the new stuff that has come out, but my age starts to show when I talk about my favorite songs. We'll get into those later, but speaking of age, let's bring up a real throwback. MMDs. Yes, MMDs in the year of our Lord 2026. Does anyone remember those? I was watching them for even longer before I knew what Vocaloid was. I don't know, man. I saw pretty girls dancing and my neurons activated. It wasn't always Miku or the other Vocaloids in the videos. Sometimes it would be like models from other fandoms, but in my memory, I feel like a majority of the music ones had them in it. I used to like watching the Vocaloid skits too. To this day, I'll never pass up watching a video with the Vocaloids or Utaloids verbally abusing each other's. I know that there's still plenty of creators making MMDs, and it's crazy seeing how some of the models have evolved, but there's just a nostalgia in looking back on the old ones and seeing the models' hair clipping through their body and clothes every 5 seconds. One of my absolute favorite songs of all time is Unknown Mother Goose by Wowaka. Rip my goat. This man never missed when making a song. Rolling Girl, Unhappy Refrain, World End Dancehall, Two-Faced Lovers to name a few of his most popular ones, but his discography runs deep. Besides Wowaka's works, I like the classics of course like Meltdown, Romeo and Cinderella, Luka Night Fever, which for some reason I memorized the dance for, but shh, that's between me and you. And of course I gotta talk about Electric Angel. So one of the reasons that my persona looks the way it does is stemmed from taking inspiration from that song because see what I did there? It's like a cyber electric team with an angel. I'm sorry. I can keep going on and on about the songs that I like, but this video would just be an hour long of me listing off songs, and I don't think that's entertaining. However, something that I've always loved with Vocaloid is that there's a song for every genre and mood. You want something cute and light? Happy synthesizer, Teto territory. Want something high energy? Literally anything by Giga will wake your ass up. Want something with a whole in-depth, overarching story? Daughter of Evil series? Or the Yonezu-P series, my favorite. I've been trying to keep up with newer releases too. I know Deco 27 and Pinocchio-P, among many others, are still active and releasing bangers. I was debating on whether or not to put this part in because some of y'all are passionate with these takes that I've seen, but I know that there's some bad blood among the players of these two games, as some Project Diva players, at least to my knowledge, believe that Project Sekai is what can Project Diva and is the reason we don't have any more games for it. Basically, Sega just said screw you to half the fan base. I'm not sure if that's true, but we can't deny that a gacha game, especially with how they've been proven to do over the past few years, would probably bring in more money for them than Project Diva would have. Before anyone says anything, I have played both. I stopped playing Project Sekai though because I'm on a gacha game cleanse. I'm 1 year sober. Thank you everyone. No more gacha for me. For now. As for the actual gameplay, I enjoyed both, honestly, but for different reasons. Project Sekai was a refreshing experience that looked at the franchise from a different perspective. You know, you had a whole storyline going on there with new characters. That's true of gameplay lens, but music-wise, oh my god, Project Diva, my beloved. We need to admit that some of the PVs that came out of that game series were iconic, and my favorite example of this is Acute. You got a story with an insane love triangle gone wrong, and on top of the instrumental and the song itself sounding great, the PV for it has a whole choreographed dance scene that shows the story and the character interactions through it, and it just enhances the whole experience. The music from this community has been there for me during multiple stages of my life now, and I don't think that will ever change. Maybe Miku wasn't lying with her curse in the beginning, because I've went months and years without listening to Vocaloid, and then suddenly I just come crawling back. You know, when I was younger, I was left alone a lot at night in the house with like only my grandpa sleeping downstairs sometimes, if even. So I would lock myself in a room, boot up the PS4, get on YouTube, and play Vocaloid songs with their PVs on the TV for hours and hours straight every night to keep me company. Yes, I played it on the PS4. I didn't have headphones, and I wanted the sound to shake the house. So, as you guys could probably tell, Vocaloid means a lot to me, and now that I have a channel, I can finally glaze this genre to a total of 5 people who stay and listen. As I approach my 20s, it is very important that I fall back into interests that I had when I was 12 and realize, damn, I was on to something back then. Maybe blasting Lost Ones weeping while under academic pressure was genius. And you know, the community has gotten pushed into the mainstream again. Like I mentioned earlier, Project Sekai bringing in new players and the pandemic, which has done a number on nerd and fandom spaces, both good and bad, but that is a separate video. We got Miku in Fortnite, Vocaloid songs being played at Coachella, and of course, as communities get bigger, or new waves of fans start to come in, there will be some bad actors. Not to say that we didn't have that before, because at the end of the day, Vocaloid is community driven, and that's what happens in a community, yet that is also one of its strengths. Yes, some new fans, or people who have never even heard of Vocaloid before, will see Miku and ask which anime is she from, or only know the big 6 Vocaloids and Teto, and look at you like you're crazy when you bring up any other ones, but breed, man, breed. It can be frustrating answering the same 5 questions, but at times like this, we gotta remember that we all start somewhere. If that person is really into it, eventually they'll find their way, like we all did. And I'm aware of how gatekeeping works and why it exists. You don't want your community or fandom to be moneyed down, spreading misinformation, people rewriting history and stuff. I get it. But I'm talking about new fans who, you know, just genuinely like they don't know, because Vocaloid has so much to offer. In a genre that is constantly evolving, I'm happy that I can be part of it. So you just gotta sit back and relax, enjoy the ride, and listen to Unknown Mother Goose if you haven't.